Full throttle. 3, 2, 1, go. Ooh. Oh man, Traxxas stuff. Well, no pain, no gain, as the expression goes. So what are we going to see in today's video of the Traxxas Drag Slash? Well, I'm very quickly going to go through the first 2 mods that I've done to the Drag Slash. Then we're going to take it out and do some serious testing and see just how much of an improvement on the time we get over 132 feet. First of all on 2S and 3S, but also how much better it handles. As I've done a little bit of tweaking on the preload. So is it going to pull to one side, or is it going to run like an absolute demon in a straight line? I'm smiling because I already know the answer. And at the very end of this video, I'm going to do a full-on speed test on 3S. It's got the optional gearing on board, and we're going to see just how fast the Traxxas Drag Slash is. So keep on watching, because I think the answer to that question may well surprise you, and I have a feeling it's got a little bit more to come. But you might gather from the way I'm smiling, I am absolutely loving this car. Hopefully you will be after you've watched this video. So let's get straight to it. And let's go. Well, Rich here, and it's time for the first of my Traxxas Drag Slash modifications. So what we're doing in this video, I'm going to be fitting the 29 tooth pinion, 22 tooth one as stock on there. Now the quote on this little card for the stock one: good acceleration, good speed, and normal conditions. For the 29 tooth pinion, they actually quote drag racing. Slightly odd that the stock pinion is not quoted for drag racing, but anyway, quoted for short distances. So I'm assuming maybe we need to be a little bit aware of any heat buildup on here. And we've got a higher top speed. So let me fit this. First of all, it comes with this little black plastic part in the bag. Not quite sure what that's for, but I suspect it's to do with the spacing when I fit this new pinion on. And the second mod today is fitting these ceramic TRB bearings all around the car. Highly recommend these. Ran these on my Traxxas Vortex 2.0. I think you used to coast for about 30 feet when I eased off the throttle at high speed. Fitted the bearing, TRB ceramic bearings on. The thing will roll for maybe 90, 95 feet. So they make a huge difference to the rolling resistance of the car. It's like free power, free speed for not a lot of money. Anyway, let's get straight to it. Going to need to remove this gear casing to fit the new pinion. 2 screws on this side. No need to remove the wheel by the looks of it. We've actually got 1 screw on the back side of the car. But on the other hand, Richie, you're going to need to take all the wheels off the car to fit the new ceramic bearings. Just say remove 2 screws here. Just 1 here actually, and the 1 on the back. There are not 2 screws at the bottom. Now bizarrely, if you're doing this job, this screw is actually really easy to remove, but you do need to remove this back tyre to get access to the screw on this side. Pay attention to the screw sizes. Long one in from the front, short one in from the back. And now we'll see why that little plastic part is needed. It is indeed needed. It's like a pre-spacer, if you like. So I'm going to need to undo these 2 screws, take the motor out, change the spacer over, and fit the new pinion on there. Okay, with the motor out, that little plastic disc simply pushes out of the way. Let's put that to one side. We're going to fit the new one. Simply slides through the back there, pushes into place like that. And that is now the holes preset, the spacing preset for the new pinion. This is absolutely excellent. If you're new to RC, this car is incredibly easy to work on from what I've seen so far. Anyway, let's get the motor back in, new pinion on. New pinion gear in place, fairly easy to do. You just need to pay attention as to how much slack or not you've got in the motor lead, so they're not too tight, not pulling too hard on the brushless motor connection there. Anyway, time to get the bearings in. Got my first 2 bearings in on the rear wheel. The one thing I would say, you do want to be careful. There is a shim both at the back of the drive shaft and at the front of the drive shaft, so don't lose those. Make sure they go back on in the same place. Anyway, time for me to rinse and repeat on the wheels, and then let's get this thing tested. Well, for tonight's purposes, because I really want to test this car tonight, I've got the ceramic bearings fitted both at the front and the rear to the outer wheel hubs on here. Now I've got several more bearings to fit on the inner part of the drive shafts and inside the gearbox, but I'm going to do that later tonight. But enough talking, Rich. First of all, we're going to test this on 2S, then 3S, optional pinion, ceramic bearings, see what a difference we get or not. And I've got my Power Hobby speed meter at the ready, so we should actually be able to test this and get a time and a top speed over the 132 feet for no prep drag racing, not the 120 feet that I used the other day. Well, I probably will do a comparison test over the 120 feet just so we can see just what improvement this gearing makes. Well, I've done my first mod, so we're going to start with running it on 2S. I've set it to 132 feet this time on the drag app, so time to launch it. Just how fast it is to 132 feet on 2S. Dying light of day, it is absolutely gorgeous up here. Anyway, to start with, I'm going to give it full throttle without the trans brake working. See how we get on. Tricky under braking. Such a cool intro that would make. Anyway, stop messing around. Okay, read that. 3.29 seconds to 41 miles an hour. Now I can't quite compare that with what it was reaching the other day because I had it set on 120 feet rather than 132 feet, but that's a good benchmark for me there. 3.2 seconds to 41 miles an hour on there. Now time to try it with the transmission brake, I think. But first of all, maybe a little bit of a burnout to get some heat in the tyres. Okay, I'm going to put too much on. Drag brake setting again. This time I'm going to apply the transmission brake on 2S. Should be able to go to full throttle. 3, 2, 1, release. Oh, that wheelied. Didn't wheelie on full throttle without the transmission brake, but it did then. Now I've no idea what a good 132 foot time is for a 2S drag car. Let's read that. 3.28 to 42 miles an hour. So not much difference in the start time there, but we've got a faster time at the end of the run. Now just as a matter of interest, I've set the distance to 120 feet on here so I can compare it with what I did the other day. Hope that makes sense. Okay, transmission brake on, full throttle. Really hard to see in this dying light of day. Okay, release. I don't know if that felt marginally quicker. I don't know if that felt any quicker or not. But with the gearing, it has. That's 2.9 seconds over the 120 feet at 42 miles an hour. That is considerably faster all round compared to what I was running the other day, if that kind of makes any kind of sense. Anyway, back to 132 feet. The great thing about this app, very easy to set up, very easy to use. Highly recommend this. Just remember guys, if you like what you see today, don't forget to subscribe. So you can play around with the changes in the gearing and see in real world terms what a difference it makes. Transmission brake on, full throttle, launch. Oh, said it was pulling. I have to say, adjusted the preload on the car, and all being well, that's sorted out the problem. Okay, time to test it on 3S. All set up for 132 feet. So just going to give it a full throttle launch without the trans brake to start with, see how we get on. Oh man, I'm going to ease off there now. I'd adjusted it, put some preload on, so it wasn't pulling too hard to the right. And it's now pulling really hard to the left. Try and get another run, full throttle. Man. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. That's not bad. That's running much straighter now. Put a little bit of turn on to the right there. I have a feeling if I take that front preloader out, it will just about be spot on. But that's much improved on 3S compared to what it was the other day, in terms of it running on a straight line at full throttle. Okay, let's read that. 2.9 to 49 miles an hour. It is definitely showing improvements just from changing both the gearing now, and I think the bearings on there. Certainly the car has got a lot less rolling resistance when it's coming towards me. Okay, man. I think Richie might be feeling confident enough to do a little burnout and try it again. Okay, let's put a bit of heat in the tyres with 3S. Not too much. Okay, drag mode, 132 feet, all set. Oh man, transmission brake time to start with. I'm just going to give it about 3/4 throttle, see how we get on. Not that I'm at all nervous, as you might tell from my tone of breath and deep breathing. Whoops. Okay, well, let's see what the damage is. GPS still inside the car, always a good sign. 2.5 to 43 miles an hour. So that's not too bad. Getting in the right direction. Speaking of direction, I might try this way because I've been having problems with the sun being in my eyes. Put a bit more heat in the tyres. Okay, I'm going to try and go for it on full throttle this time. Drag mode, 132 feet, Full throttle. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, oh man, Traxxas stuff, but maybe not that time. All the things. The only concrete thing, and I have to edit. Unbelievable. So now, pulling a little bit too much to the left, and my battery lead's come loose. Taking out a little bit of the preload I put in on the front. Just see if that'll stop us pulling so much to the left. Bit more space to run in if we go into the sun. Hit it again, Richie. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, that's better. Getting better. Okay, so what do we get there? 3.2 to 41 miles an hour. Put a bit of heat in those tyres. Full throttle, and let's go. Oh man, that was probably the best one yet. Very, very little input until that top end there. Did I get 132 feet in though? Before I had to adjust it. That hooked up and went like an absolute missile on there. Let's read that. 3.1 to 43 miles an hour. Not the fastest time of the night. One of the higher top speeds of the night, but that thing hooked up and went like an absolute rocket on there. I think I probably eased up before I hit 132 feet. So, try again. Okay, just about done for the night, I think. See if we can get one half decent running on 3S for that full 132 feet. Okay, full throttle, hammer down. 3, 2, 1, let's go. I'm not convinced that as they're reaching 132 feet before I'm having a back off there because it's starting to turn over. .2 to 42 miles an hour. So a little bit, I need a little bit of work, a little bit more fine tuning on there, but it is still ticking an awful lot of boxes. Speaking of which, I wonder how fast it is with that optional gearing on. Guess we should go find out. Now I literally have no idea how fast this thing is, and it does need quite a distance to stop in, bear in mind. Words, oh my God, spring to mind. It's wanting to wheelie at virtually any speed on that speed run there. As I began to floor it, it was, even though it's probably doing about 50 plus, it was still wanting to lift. I think may need an exceptionally long area. See, floor it on there. Ooh, man. Careful, Richie boy. I can't help thinking it could actually be a good speedrun car because of that wheelie bar on the back. If it starts to lift at the front, it's going to touch down at the back there. Oh, man. Doing well on the saves tonight, Rich. As you might see from the front of this, I picked this up from NorCal Hobbies, where I get all my Traxxas cars from. Link to them below the video. Oh man, road rash. Oh. Now you can see why I picked the white body, because it doesn't show the battle scars as much. At this point, people, remember, I do this stuff so you don't have to. Probably don't want to either. Anyway, how fast do we think that thing was going? Okay, I'm thinking probably into the 60s, but maybe 70, but I'm doubting 70, maybe high 60s, let's see. 72 miles an hour. I thought for a minute there I still had it in the drag mode on there. So, how fast is the Traxxas drag slash? At the top end there, 72 miles an hour. I'm actually thinking that could go over 75, probably closer to 80, given the right distance. I'm having to feed the power in, because even when it's doing like about 50, it's still wanting to wheelie the car. and it's a little bit hectic under braking, as we saw just then, but 72 miles an hour, not too shabby at all. Well, thumbs up if you like this video, guys. Post any comments you might have in the comment section below the video, and hit the circle below to subscribe. And if you do hit the circle, don't forget to hit the bell.